Hey everyone, I'm Jennifer Walker and I'm going to be your instructor for this course this semester. And what I wanted to do is go through the syllabus so that you have an idea of what to expect, and I think that it'll help also for me to explain this to you a little bit in depth as we go along. So if you want to pull up the syllabus or if you want to print it out, go ahead and grab that, because that way we can look at it together as we go along, and if there's any questions after you have a chance to watch the video, you can email me about what I've gone over in the syllabus. So this is EDSE 535. This entire course will be online this semester. So everything you'll be doing will be in modules and turned in online. We will be doing some discussion via Blackboard, but this is primarily an online class. For that reason, please contact me for an appointment. If you want to either meet somewhere or you want to Skype, even a phone conversation, any of those things work. Of course, email and phone calls are always welcome. I do have my cell phone number on there, so if you do need to contact me, you can, as well as my email. I'll let you take a look just kind of at the beginning pages with the mission and conceptual framework portions. In terms of the course description, what's important to kind of focus on here is that this is a course on collaboration, consultation, communication in terms of working with other teachers, with professionals, with parents, as well as how do you kind of advocate for students as well and teach them that. The other piece of this is the transitional piece, when we're looking at how do you create a transitional plan, as well as working with the family in order to create that plan as well. So the course goals and objectives are listed here, and I'll let you read that. I'm not going to read that word for word, but you have an idea of what to expect throughout the course. In terms of the text, the required text for everyone is the FITSL text, which is about paraprofessionals working together. This will be a nice way to get a feel for what the expectation is when you're working with an assistant or a para, depending on what you call them in your building. And then the other text is the Wendy Morowski text, which is the collaborative teaching. Now, if you're a primary teacher, you should have picked up the elementary school version, or if you're secondary, pick up the secondary version. We will be able to stay together as we go along, but I think that some of the examples and some of the activities are more in tune with the elementary or secondary, depending on where you are. The other text that will be very helpful is the APA manual. If you don't have that already, you want to go ahead and pick that up. That's going to be really useful for you. Of course, you can use online resources, but the manual is really an easier reference for you. There will be some readings that will be posted to Canvas, and those are listed in the syllabus. From time to time, sometimes I'll see something that comes out in the news, or I'll see something coming down from BDOE, and I'll pass that along to you as well for you to read, just as a resource. As far as the technology, you will be expected, obviously, to use technology a great deal. I have posted all the links that you are going to need to access the information within each of the modules on Canvas. So if you go onto Canvas, you'll see week 1, week 2. I am posting those individual links right inside those modules. However, some of those modules do require you to log in with a password or to create an account. So when you go to those links initially, it may kick you back out because it wants you to set up an account. You can always obviously refresh and go back to that direct link. Everything is working as it stands now. You never know what's going to happen, but everything is active. All those links are active. The other thing that I do, just as my personal way of keeping organized, and so that you know you're not missing anything, is that when I've completed a module in Canvas, I write the word done next to the title. So you'll see in Canvas, for example, week 1, the date, and then you'll see the word done. So done means I've put everything in that folder or that module that I'm going to put in there, and it's ready for you. so you don't need to keep checking back to see if I've added anything. In terms of class policies, let's start with the late work component. Everything has a due date that's written in the syllabus and very clear about when things are due, and if there is any change whatsoever, and typically a change is going to be that it's pushed back instead of moved forward, but if there's a change, I'll post it in Canvas. I will also let you know through an email as well as somewhere else, so that you have it in a multiple ways. All of our assignments are going to need to be submitted through Canvas by midnight on the date they are due. Okay, it will be considered a day late, and there's no exception. So if it's not posted at midnight, it's late. Our day for this particular class is going to be on Tuesday. So everything that we do, it's as if we're meeting on a Tuesday. So your assignments will be due at midnight on a Tuesday. The expectation is that the discussions will be completed by midnight on Tuesday. So Tuesdays are our days. If you're realizing that your assignment is going to be late, if you could notify me and give me an estimated time frame that I would expect to see your work, that is my expectation. If you're turning work in late, it is a 2-point per calendar day deduction. So if it's due Tuesday at midnight and I don't get it till Wednesday morning, that's still 2 points. Up until Wednesday at midnight, it's 2 points. So for each subsequent day, it's 2 additional points. And that's really important to note. Nothing beyond 5 calendar days will be accepted. So if it goes beyond 5 days, it's done. That will be it. There have been very rare cases where I've accepted things past 5 days. However, you must have prior approval. So if you come to me at day 6 and say, I wish I would have turned this in, or I have this assignment, if I haven't heard from you and given you prior approval to go to day 6, then it will not be accepted. And really, those things are so rare and so extreme that it's not really something I anticipate having to deal with. The other piece is that I'm not going to remind you of these overdue assignments. So if you don't turn something in, I'm not going to kind of chase after you to make sure that you do that. I want to kind of adhere to professional standards, so my expectation is that you will notify me if it's late or you will turn it in. Everything that you turn in will be in APA formatting. So again, that's where that manual comes into play. That is part of the College for Education, and it's very important that you focus on learning APA because that will be the expectation for the coursework. So in line with that APA, everything that you'll turn in will be double-spaced, 12-point font, 1-inch margins, Times New Roman, and you should also label it with your name as well as the assignment name when you drop it in. I'm really clear about what the expectations are for assignments, so please take a look at the rubric before you turn things in and just make sure that you've kind of gone through that as a checklist. And if you are confused about something or you're not clear on how to turn an assignment in, please contact me. Let's problem solve through it together. Let's clear it up. I want you to know exactly what the expectation is for each and every assignment. Just a word about academic integrity and about citations in general. If you are quoting material from a source or you're getting information from a source, it is really important that you give credit to that source and that you cite it appropriately. Generally speaking, if you're using 4 or more words in a row, you should be using quotation marks and citing the source. I encourage you to use direct quotes sparingly, if at all. Direct quotes from other authors should only be used when there is no other way to say it yourself, or the information is said in such a way that it cannot be replicated. But 9 times out of 10 you can summarize, and so that is where I want you to put your efforts rather than citing quoting sources. So the guidelines for class participation, one of the things that I wanted to point out is that this is going to be pretty heavy duty in terms of the expectations per module. The class is not going to meet us at a specific time, so you're free to work at your own pace. But what I think it's important to remember is that this online component takes the place of meeting weekly. So the work that you're doing is not just what you would be doing outside of class, but it's also your in-class work. On top of that, to kind of confound how much is going on this semester, this is a summer session, so it's very condensed and it's very packed. So it's really important to realize that this will take a significant amount of time to go through these modules. I want to be able to know that you have gone through the modules and you reflect on those modules appropriately. So as we go through assignments, if I cannot tell that you've actually gone through the modules, I may contact you or ask you to resubmit something. A lot of what we do will be about reflection, and part of that reflection, I want you to think beyond just regurgitating the information. I want you to think about what this means for you as a teacher, for your students, for special ed in general, and I want you to work at making it applicable to your setting and to your environment. As you go along and you finish these modules, you don't have to turn in any of these certificates, but again, you're not going to be able to move through this process without having all the information along the way, because it will build and you will need to use this information from these modules as sources and citations. Okay? So at this point, I'm at the course outline where we're looking at kind of the week-to-week the week-to-week activities and dates. Just in terms of how it's set up, what you'll see is that anything that's due as an assignment is written in bold. There are a number of things to read, online activities. Sometimes I tell you just to browse something, but you'll see that it'll be very clear about what you should do. And when you go into the modules on Canvas, you'll also see that everything is grouped together. So it's kind of packaged as well that way. So the very first thing that we will have that's due is a Canvas discussion that's due by the 18th. That will be the only exception to our Tuesday due dates. And the reason why I set that as a different time is because I felt like I wanted to get us established first, and then for you to have a chance to respond a little bit later. Okay? So again, everything is lined up per week, and the assignments are also written in. Should we need to make changes to the syllabus, I'll do that along the way, and I will let everyone know and then revise it accordingly. In terms of the evaluation for this particular course, there are 5 assignments. There's a transition paper which will be due pretty early. There will be a number of reflection and interaction sessions, which is going to be about 5 points each. Not about, it is 5 points each. And then we will be doing 2 partnered activities as well as a final collaboration project. So you can see how that breaks down within the grid for the syllabus. The grade determination is also there, which is clear. So let's just talk really briefly about these assignments. The individual difficult transition paper, I don't think that there is anything I need to add to what is already said here, but I'm asking you to reflect on a time that you went through a transition and how you managed that transition. In addition, there are some other kind of prompts and questions that I also want you to address, and I want you to find some resources that would have been helpful for you during that transitional time. Now, my expectation is that this particular assignment will be in first person, so you will be using the words I. It'll be more of a journal type than an academic or scholarly paper. So that is the first assignment that is due, and that particular assignment is due on the 20th by midnight. So you have about a week or so to get that done. Okay. The other thing is those reflection and interaction discussions, and In order to receive the full points for that, you do need to have 2 entries per discussion. So you can start a discussion, you can add on to someone else's thread, you can ask them questions, talk about experiences, tie in things from the assignment. Again, I'm looking to make sure that you have done the reading and that you are tying it into your experiences as a teacher into your own setting. Of course, I know I don't need to say this, but I just want to make sure that everyone understands we should be respectful of each other's opinions and viewpoints, and always, interact with professionalism, even if we disagree with one another. You'll also be doing a partner transition interview. Well, you will actually go out and do an interview, and then you'll come back together with a partner to discuss this. I'm going to listen to your virtual groans right now as I tell you that you will be assigned your partner for this activity. And you will also be assigned a different partner for the next activity. And in case you're wondering why I'm doing this, this is a collaboration course. And despite how easy it is to work with folks that we know or we have an established relationship with, the reality is we're all going to be in jobs and situations where we're going to be working with people that we don't know a lot about or have different learning styles or work ethic. And so it's important for us to practice these collaboration skills, especially since that's the aim of our course. So you'll be doing that interview, coming back together, discussing it, and then writing one paper together, one joint paper. So you will also be receiving 1 grade for the 2 of you. Then we'll have a partnered transition case study. So in this situation, you're going to be given a case study, and you will actually use that case study to develop a transition planning piece. Now I'm losing my train of thought. And what you'll do with that, again, with your partner is analyze it. It'll be very clear-cut in terms of what you're going to be planning for, what documents you need to include, what you should be looking at. The last piece is the collaboration project. And in that collaboration project, you are going to be working individually, and you're going to identify a relationship to improve. And I will continue to walk us through each of these assignments as the weeks go on. I will give you examples, I'll give you things to think about. But for this particular assignment, you're going to be looking at, again, some real life experiences, but then you're also need to tap into what we've been reading, the modules you've been going over, because you're going to need to look at some resources, action plans, and ways of evaluation. Okay? So those are the assignments as an overview. There's some correlational, objective, and assessment measures for you to review. I do expect that on each assignment you will complete the full honor code written at the bottom of your work. And just as a FYI, and so that you know, there is a rating center as well as an Office for Disability Services. So if you do have a disability, please let me know that is the case, and please contact them to make some arrangements. I think that should cover our syllabus for now. So if you have questions, please send me an email. And what I may do as the semester goes on is, as questions come up, if there are questions that multiple people have, I may make another video, despite the fact that I am incredibly uncomfortable doing this, but I think it might be the easiest way to convey some information. So take a look, see if you have any questions, and get started on Module 1, and we're going to have a great semester.